Well, guys, it is time for another podcast, and this time we are doing things a little bit differently. Starting this week over on the members community, you guys can get the additional fifth topic, which we are returning by popular request by members. And speaking of members, thank you to all the latest people that have joined recently, and of course, those that have passed the 5-month membership. As I recently did a video for the members highlighting the latest offerings, you guys now know that teardrops are happening all across the board. So right now, if you're a member of the middle tier MetaHuman, you get the Dark Phoenix audio commentary, and if you're a member of the Kind Citizen, you get Captain Marvel. On top of that, every single audio commentary that is older than 3 years will now be available to the Kind Citizen tier, and every audio commentary from the 3 to 2 year is available to MetaHumans, and every month a new one falls into that time bracket, they will be added and highlighted over on the community tab. So make sure you guys are checking there. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably seeing it's a little bit different visually. That's because we're going to be highlighting more of what we are offering over to members. Because as most of you know, the channel memberships and joining a YouTube channel is sort of like Patreon. It's the same type of idea. A few bucks and we give you some additional content. So of course, audio commentaries, game reviews, which you guys asked for, Let's Plays, and the return of both series. Crisis and Comic Clash will be returning either the end of this month or middle of next month as they're taking production time, and I got to do all the proper research. The first movie we will be talking about is James Cameron's Spider-Man. What if that came out? How would that have changed the landscape of comic book movies, and what would have happened to the Raimi trilogy? For Cosmic Clash, which is now what it's called, it's Captain America from the MCU versus the DCEU Batman. Okay, now that all the showing and changes are out of the way, let's get to the podcast at hand. And also, before we get to it really this time, we are not doing a full-on spoiler cast for Venom Let There Be Carnage, but I did join our friends over at the Nerd Academy to discuss it for over an hour. So if you guys would like to check that out and show them some love, click the link down below or the little thing that pops up and go check them out. So, for the longest amount of time, we all suspected that the Blade release date was going to be October of 2022. There was quite literally like a placeholder there. We could all see it, right? Like, we weren't all making it up. It's like, this is the Blade placeholder. So, it... And we kind of learned that that was originally intended, as we all suspected. So what happened was, I want to say, the Associate India page, I think, for Marvel
The
Studios.
fan account India page.
Well, not fan account.
It's a fan account.
They are licensed, but they're like IGN. They're licensees, and they have to follow certain things. They obviously can't post like DC things, but it's the international marketing teams, which I find interesting, that they did, of course, have the updated slate. You know, they had the new Marvels logo and everything. They had Blade on there. Then it was taken down. We know just by what they were saying and how Blade was developing that it was going to be October of next year. Like, that was a foregone conclusion, I think, to everybody. But in the last year, since they've said we're not doing, we're not making as much progress as we once were on Blade, that release date got entirely scrapped. So there's no more October 22 release date, which again makes sense because Blade was going to be it. Now there's an October 2023 release date. That makes sense, but people are still confused. There's still some people that think Blade is coming out next October.
That's because these sort of accounts know absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
They don't get any information from Marvel whatsoever.
Yeah,
and they look at rumors and everything and post it as fact or even make stuff up. Like, they've done it so many times, but people, it doesn't take 5 seconds to actually Google when Blade starts production, which is July next year, by the way. They cannot shoot and make that movie in 3 months.
No,
it doesn't take long to Google that.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of this gets lost with the shuffle in the news. And again, yes, Blade was set, not officially, but we know it was set for October of next year. Again, they wouldn't have scrapped the date if it was something. So, but it's that interesting type of position to be in where you look at the whole Blade situation, And like you said, shooting in July. Come on. Like, even a CW episode takes slightly
It's
around.
literally impossible.
Yeah, like that's impossible unless you're going to put together nothing and toss it out there, which I don't know why some people believe that's going to be the case with Blade. Like, that's probably not happening. I mean, look, he's probably appearing in Moon Knight, so
Yeah.
get used to
I
that
wouldn't be
one.
surprised.
I mean, that's the one that makes sense. He's been cast for so long, get him into something to get people aware of it. But otherwise, I don't see anything else with Blade that's, I don't know, off. It seems weird. People still don't believe it's happening for whatever reason. I don't get that mentality. Like,
What people believe and what they don't believe online anymore is weird.
uh-huh.
It's all gone kaput.
Yeah, it's
Kaput.
true. It's true. And it is also that, like, degree of all these pages, like the Sony pages that accidentally posted the spoiler for the logo with the wrong music, and it was like, wait a second, it's the new, like, we could see what was happening in the logo, and then they took it down, and Sony was like, So, like, that always causes confusion as well, because Sony's international pages are more connected to Sony than the licensing out of pages and verification, which...
Yeah, that's because Sony itself is more an international account.
Yeah, exactly. So I could see why.
From our perspective, anyway.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
The official main Marvel page for me is an international account because I have the Marvel UK one and all that, which useless because no one uses it. That's always just the main one. I don't understand why they have these different Twitter accounts.
They're just sitting on it so no one can take it. It's just gotta be it.
Like you've always had these, and they've always they're never right. I've never seen like a Marvel India account be right about anything ever. In the last 15 or whatever years, never seen them be right ever. It's just like, okay.
They're just run by scoopers hoping to land big one day.
They're run by kids.
Oh.
I don't know how they get into it, but they were kids a few years ago. They might not be now, but I think it was like one of the Instagram ones. It's just like, you're fighting with people. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Amazing. I don't understand.
That's how far it's come, I guess. So, look, when there's more to talk about in regards to everything Blade, we'll talk about it. I assume it will be soon because we're going to start hearing things about more castings and everything. So,
what people have to remember is they couldn't even announce, or they couldn't even film Black Widow before it was announced, like people knowing about it.
Yeah.
Like, do you really think they would be getting away with Blade? No. They can't get away with anything without anyone knowing about it.
Exactly. Yep. That's exactly it. So there you go. That's our take on the release and where it's going. It's going to October of 2023. So it's time to talk a little bit about Venom and the multiverse boogaloo.
I hope you put the spoiler warning at the start of the show again.
Spoilers. We're talking spoilers, Venom.
Look, that was a no.
Does it even matter? Because all anybody talks about,
knows it.
And it's the only thing everybody talks about. Nobody actually talks about the rest of the movie.
That's the funny thing about it, though.
It's because there's nothing to talk about. Dude. It's literally the first one, but red.
Yeah. So
it's just as aggressively mid as the first one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, he's in the MCU now, or something that's the MCU. We'll see how they handle. They put it on Feige's lap and said, "You figure out this problem now." And it's like, oh no. And
my thing with this, right? I'm not convinced he's in it permanently. I think this is a one and done. And I say that because they set up something in his reality. Spoilers, they set up toxin. It's clearly toxin. Everyone knows it's toxin.
It's toxin in name only, so that's the most Sony thing I've ever seen. But yeah,
that's true. But you're setting up toxin in his reality. Like, why leave a cliffhanger?
Yeah,
when you're taking him out of that reality, which then asks the question: well, what's Morbius doing? What's what's the Sony movies doing?
Yeah, that one makes no sense.
So it's like I'm not convinced this is permanent. I think this is literally just I say we want clout. It's this entire franchise is built off we want clout. So they want a movie purely for clout. So Venom and Spider-Man, yeah, people are gonna watch it.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing, looking at this thing from that angle. It's like, I get what they're doing. Yeah, Feige's probably going to have to play with Venom in one film, do whatever, and then they end up back to where they are. But the bigger problem is, how does this is like clearly in some way going to contradict Morbius and them meeting each other there, unless Morbius has been in the MCU the entire time, which again, we've heard multiple people involved with that production say that they were told that's exactly what it is. So it's like, oh yeah, we're in the MCU. The Avengers exist in this world. It's like, I'd like to think that Sony thought this through, but the timeline of events doesn't make sense because Morbius was shooting before the fallout and everything, and Disney was not going to let that film in. So.
Well, Andy Serkis has said, the entire time it was in flux whether Holland would be in the movie or not.
Yeah, they made a last.
And he was supposed to have a role. It's just kind of like, okay, he was for Venom 2. What was the title going to be at one point?
Something love or something.
Yeah, love will tear us apart or something like that. Some song lyric, and it's just like, what are you, Andy Serkis? What are you doing?
You're better than this.
Who thought this was a good idea? So he was supposed to have a role. Then it was, from how they're talking about the end credit scene, is literally from the Spider-Man No Way Home reshoots. I refuse to believe otherwise. So,
I mean, also the end credit scene looks like Sony just stuck their own camera, pointed at Holland, and said "act."
Yeah, the original title was Venom 2. Love will tear us apart.
Yeah, that's the one. I mean, they don't care about this franchise in the slightest, and it shows.
No, they don't.
It shows. Why is Carnage 7 foot tall? What the hell? What's going on there? Or why was he? I should say. You killed him off in the same movie you brought him in.
Why did he literally stop talking at one point and go, "Venom, let there be carnage"?
Don't. I had to pause the movie and step away at that point. I was like, no.
Yeah, it's I appreciate what they're trying to do. I appreciate that Marvel Studios is trying to work this in because it's the last leftover piece of the puzzle that they don't own. So it's like, look, we can make this all work. We can get it. And then bringing back all these other Spider-Men and everything, that's cool, that's great. But this feels more forced than anything. Like, that's how I felt watching the ending of Venom. I was like, this feels forced. Like,
it's one of those where it's like it's perfect timing because obviously you got No Way Home and a Doctor Strange spell going off. You just go, it's the spell. That's why he's in No Way Home for a brief second, and then he's somehow going to be the forgotten one, and the credit scene for that movie is going to be him walking around or something like that. Like, it's going to be something don't like. He has to hang around for the crossover movie, which is clearly going to be.
Yeah.
If it's not, I'm going to be surprised.
I wonder if that's going to be the fourth Spider-Man that Marvel Studios does with Tom Holland. They're like, fine, we'll put Venom in here. We'll make it so it's actually good. And then you guys take Venom back.
Yeah. It's like, we're going to keep a little bit of Venom on Holland.
Yeah.
We're going to get him the black suit. Hardy's Venom can go back over there. Then we're going to do our own Venom.
And then Venom over there has his webs. He can shoot webs. He now has the spider, so you guys can continue to play with that. And he's the lethal protector. And Holland stays here, and he's here. And we play with that element.
Right. When did Lethal Protector come out?
90s? Early 90s? Like 95?
So why in the movies do they say it's the 80s? It's just like you couldn't even be bothered to actually look up when Lethal Protector came out. It's just like, oh, come on, Serkis.
Don't question it, Mitch. Don't do this.
I'm gonna question it.
Yeah, fair enough.
1993, well into the. It wasn't even.
All that stuff was in the early 90s. So I don't know why I said.
It feels like 1990. Fair enough.
You can
make that mistake, but it's like, come on.
But
that's just me rolling my eyes at this movie.
Yeah, legit though. Legit. Well, I suppose, now everybody knows they're multiversing it together. We're probably gonna hear more about these plans and know a little more in a.
And like the only thing that's weird to me is that I don't know why they chose to do that with the symbiote, saying that they have like a multi-dimensional consciousness.
Yes. They're clearly looking at Donny Cates' run, right? Because I know Carnage has been as that tool for longer than Cates' run, but it seems to be like a bit of a null situation.
Yeah. Yep.
They're making, even though they're clearly not doing the Homeworld, and because they don't even get the Homeworld name right. I don't know how they made this movie and called it Venom, but yeah, I assume making the symbiotes more of a galactic universal thing is them taking from that run.
Yeah. It's
what I want to know is why does he gets all aggressive when he sees him on the screen?
I don't. Yeah,
that's the only thing that I get from the multidimensional consciousness is that a version of Venom ran into a Peter Parker Spider-Man. That's the only reason he says that.
Yeah,
it's got to be why.
That's exactly how they're gonna explain it. And I mean, I really don't like the term Venomverse being used by everybody related to the Venom movies now, because it tells me that they're gonna try to do a Into the Venomverse film. It's like, oh no.
It happened in the comics.
Yeah, it did.
Everyone got everyone got a symbiote.
God. Well, we'll know more when No Way Home comes out, probably. I mean, we'll see what they were able to pull off, and then we'll know.
I would safely put money that he's in No Way Home.
I'm only saying for a post-credit scene, but yeah.
Because like I say this purely because there's obviously a Sinister Six.
Mm-hmm.
We know they're going for a six. We don't know who the six are. Why would they hide that? And then we have this movie right before this movie that's having villains from different universes come in that are related to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's too coincidental, and it's too easy for Sony to not jump in there and get the clout.
It's true. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with it, but, I'm more interested in the Marvel side of it than the Sony side, because Sony just wants to apparently get to another giant crossover as fast as possible, and that did not work out before. They're just lucky Venom makes money. That's their whole thing. They're lucky. They got lucky, so.
They're lucky China likes it.
Yeah, they are. Yep.
No, I say that it's taking off in.
Made a lot more in America as well.
100 million.
Yeah.
No, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Everyone.
Speaking of being ashamed,
is it
WB?
I thought you were going to say Robert Pattinson, because his reaction in that Fandom trailer is he looks so bored.
No, I was going to say WB might have wanted to try to dump DC multiple times, and they didn't succeed, but hey, they finally got new content coming at us, and I'm excited for most of it, I think is a optimistic way to put it. We did get like a sizzle reel, and there's been stuff that's been out there in regards to what we can expect, first look reveals, costumes, all that. We're going to get that, the standard fandom fare that we're expecting now. But the little reel they did reveal, yeah, Pattinson looked a little bored. He didn't want to talk about it. It was just like, bro, just let me do my thing. It's like,
I can't blame him, in fairness. Like, even The Rock didn't even seem that big on it.
I mean, I don't know why I got this vibe, but I got the vibe that everything for Fandom, all the interviews were shot very rapidly, and they didn't know if they were going to do Fandom this year. And then they were like, we better just, all right, here you go. Slapdash this together, say these 30 lines, and we're going to stitch that together with some clips, which again, that's why Fandom is shorter this year. They know what they're doing. They have a more focused direction now, which I can appreciate, but something just feels off this year. I don't know how to explain it. Like something.
I wouldn't say something feels off. I just found it funny how Patterson was just like, yeah, you don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
Well,
I expect nothing less from Patterson. It tickled me.
I mean, to further, I guess, explain why feel like something feels off is they're not pushing the new to the forefront. Like last year, I remember they were like, breaking announcements you won't get anywhere else, new films, new TV series. This has been focused on everything that's coming that we know exists. And maybe that's deliberate this time because they're not trying to build up too much hype on what could possibly disappoint, which, fair. But you think they would want to be like new product, or new film announced by J.J. Abrams or something. There's been none of that from the official marketing. It just feels a little off compared to last time. And maybe they're just being deliberately careful. I don't know, but something.
Yeah, I think maybe they might have learned to like let people get excited for the now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
because the now is all they really have. It's not like Marvel where they can go, hey, look, here's this thing, but we're going to be doing this thing as well, and that thing's going to happen like 20 times out of 21.
Yeah,
that was a really weird number. But like, whereas DC, you're like, yeah, this thing's happening. It's like, but it's not really.
Yeah,
I think that. And also with how last year went, when they split over 2 days, because like no one gave a crap about one of the days whatsoever. It's like, yeah, we're just going to focus on people that actually want. It's a shame we've already seen the Flashpoint, well, at least part of it anyway. I'd assume and hope there's some more, and it's not just going to be what leaked earlier.
Yeah, that would be terrible because that was like still just like concept art. So guys, you got to show a little more here, and maybe they are trying to, play with expectations because they don't want to show their entire hand because they only have films for the next year and a half and then they're out and they got to start producing the new content if they're going to meet, because we could, again, get into that scenario where there's a 3 to 4 DC films back to back in 14 months and then one in the next 2 years. It's like, guys, come on. Like, they got to balance this out a little better. It's kind of, to keep the flow going. Like Marvel Studios, you feel like there's something new every month because there is.
Yeah.
There legitimately is, it's, and even Star Wars is getting to that point. So I'm hoping that they can maybe lay out a solid foundation and plan moving forward. Be like, so here you go. And this is how we're going to roll out the content and what's coming next. But
so there's obviously going to be a lot more than what they've just teased in that trailer. I mean, reluctantly have high expectations. It's just like you need something.
So what do you think is going to be something that they sell as shocking, but it's not really shocking? Everybody saw coming.
This is everything. Yeah, everything we've heard about.
I can't wait.
Where's the J.J. Abrams stuff?
Yeah, I can't wait for people to be like, yeah, but you didn't know about Constantine. It's like, yes, we did, because they straight up told the CW, get rid of Constantine because we're using him.
Yeah.
So, like, I want something a little bit more surprising, but I feel like they've shown their hand already. It's...
I also find it hilarious that everyone saw Ava DuVernay's name. And they're like, oh my God, New Gods. And it's like, guys, stop tagging me. It's not New Gods, it's Naomi on CW. All right, stop.
That's because Zaddy's coming back with New Gods, bro.
Stop reminding me about it.
No, Mitch.
I need it.
Give into it. Zaddy's coming back. He's doing Justice League 3 and 4. And...
I mean, if he's coming back for New Gods, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Seen way too many people saying, "Oh yeah, they'll give in to us all over again for Zack Snyder to come back." I'm like,
no, please.
People need to let him go.
Yeah.
Just go over to Netflix.
Oh, did you see they were gonna go to war, even though Doomsday lost?
Yeah, those 12 people are going to return to WB lot again.
Oh. Well, whatever they announce, look, I'm excited to talk about it. Hopefully they announce something we don't expect, but I have a feeling don't expect that.
I want to know, is it Mike Flanagan who was talking about the Clayface movie?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I want his Clayface movie. Like, what are you... I don't understand how WB can, I understand why they sold off like half the Joker movie, but after that making like $1 billion, why would you turn down another villain movie?
Because he don't make money like Joker.
Well, they didn't even think Joker would make money.
Yeah, well, people flip flop all the time.
They only got like half the profit of that movie, if that. They had like a 20% stake in it left or some stupid like that. Like, the amount of movies that we've heard more movies recently that they've turned down pitches for than we have actual new movies that they said yes to.
Yep.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I'd want a Clayface movie, or even a Batman Clayface movie. No more Joker. I'd rather have Clayface.
Yeah.
No more Batman and Clayface, unless Clayface is going to be in the Batman.
That'd be fine. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
But I assume we're going to find out about James Gunn's other show.
Yeah.
Which I assume Suicide Squad related.
I honestly don't think they're going to announce it here. I think they'll pull him out and he'll be like, I'm working on something new, but go watch Peacemaker first. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Because, I don't know.
See, that'd be so dumb.
Because he's got to do Guardians and the holiday special over the course of the next year and a half. So if they announce it now, it's what, 2.5, 3 years away at best? That falls into that WB I don't trust them category where they might shift focus in the next 6 weeks and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah, but I think no, I can't even say because the Guns movies made money because it didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can see him. I can see them announcing it.
Maybe
I
that's
hope
it.
they would anyway.
Same. I hope, but I don't know.
Yeah. Like, even what's weird right now is that no one's talking about New York Comic Con happening this weekend either.
What?
Yep.
Oh.
It's too early for New York Comic Con, isn't it?
No.
I thought that was November.
No, that was.
No, it's this weekend. I just checked.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's this weekend. No one's talking about it because the only reason I know about it is because a lot of comic shops I follow are saying that they're going there and they're having exclusive variants. And I was like, they're having it this weekend? I was like, okay. And that's why I knew, like, no, really anyone's talking about it.
Well, RIP Comic Con.
Wow.
To be fair, New York was going to die because, the only people that went there was Fox and Marvel TV. And,
Yeah. Nope. Marvel Studios went twice, and then they were like, well, we can't do this anymore because we're moving offices now. So, yeah. It was a thing. It was. Boy, those Marvel offices in New York sure were wiped out, but not because of lawsuits. See, I think I got that one. I figured that segue out.
They were wiped out?
They were? It's only like, what they keep there? Marvel TV until that was defunct? Because Marvel Studios moved to Burbank permanently, I think.
Comics is there. Comics ain't moving.
Yeah.
The place that made all these characters with the
the 13 people that care about the comics, Mitch. Who reads these comics here?
It's where it originated. It's the point of the topic.
Yeah, well, let's bring this topic around and to talk about the lawsuit, because that's what we're talking about. Marvel and Disney are in a fight versus all the estates because character rights. So what do we feel on this one? Because
I feel like the Kirby estate's been here and lost because it's a work for hire situation. As bad as it is, it's not even me being like, I'm not going to win. It's just like the Kirby estate lost because it's a work for hire. As simple as that.
Yeah, it's like on one end, it's it's bad on the companies for not giving them stable income for the people that created the character and their families. But on the other end, it's as bad as it is, it's work for hire, and they can't get around it. Even though, from what I understand now, is that from I think was it the Copyright Act of the mid 70s gave some of the creators an option that after so many years they have an option to recant the copyright and stake some ownership over the character.
Yeah,
and
that's applying to more than just comics. Like, it's been happening in film and TV as well. Like, we saw the whole Predator thing earlier this year, where by 2019 to 2021, creators of like action figures and action characters in the 70s and 80s, like Terminator, Predator, could all file to get the rights back. So it's happening everywhere. Like, this is only popular to Disney right now because it's over to Marvel characters, but it's happening pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
So
and like the whole confusion here is that from what has been stated is that since Stanley's passed and he doesn't have a stake or can say anything about Spider-Man as a whole, the Ditko estate wants some money or partial rights to Spider-Man, even though from interviews and stuff, Steve Ditko wanted nothing to do with Spider-Man after the fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're gonna kind of Ditko's words are gonna work against him here.
Yeah. And people,
It's
people
public
are like,
knowledge how he felt. And
it's like people are like, what? And there was statements that after the fall, he didn't want anything to do with Spider-Man if he couldn't get full credit for it, even money. He refused. He refused payouts from movies and everything else that was Spider-Man because he stuck to as much as he hated the rest of the family, he stuck to his principles. And if he couldn't get like full credit for things that he created, he didn't want any of the kickback from any of the profits.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, Ditko is slightly in the wrong there because it's like, no, it's a joint effort. Like a character isn't a drawing. A character isn't just the writing. It's both.
Yeah, and I think it was
Don't get full credit. You get a co-credit on it.
Yeah, and I think the reason why it was probably going to even work against me even more is that from what was stated is that the concept of Spider-Man was worked on with Jack Kirby before Stanley went to Ditko, and he's put his own spin on the creation of Spider-Man. So yeah.
It's this huge legal problematic battle, and
it is because it's just that back then they didn't have current contracts to where you sign it has an outline of what they have and what they can't have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the big thing. It's also the reason why they Marvel and Disney went after Stanley's brother, because he created most of the other Silver Age characters to at least try and come up with for most part a sizable go away money for all parties intended. So it's just a big mess. Is what it is.
So this is I've seen people say like, oh, they're just trying to get money. They don't deserve anything. They didn't make it. It was like a relative that's no longer with us. And it's like that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Like inheritance is a thing, and if I found out someone I was related to had made something that's worth a fortune now, you're damn right I want a part.
I know that's the thing, is that it's not so much the money, is that they look back at that they would have a say in everything, and for the most part, not all relatives would want to have the thing that's been made be represented fully to its realization, and would just give it up to the highest bidder who would give them the most money. And if they didn't like it, they would stink up to high heaven and probably have stuff canceled just because they have just because they were related to said person who created that IP. Mm-hmm. So it's a catch-22 here.
Yeah,
I just think Disney needs to pay out, Marvel needs to pay out, and the families need to kind of realize that it's the work for hire situation puts them in a really tight spot.
Yeah. Also, can we just talk about it like this for a second? They just settled with Scarlett Johansson for $40 million. I guarantee you, between all these estates, they're asking for less than $5 million combined. So why don't you permanently settle with all of them and not have to have this happen in a public spotlight? Like, it's $5 million. You're gonna make that back by farting. Like, so what is it to you? Like, I did. Yeah. And I get it.
You spent triple that on costumes.
Yeah, legit though. Like,
it's nothing. Like, just give them a percentage of a percent of like what that character makes from a movie or something like that.
Yep.
Like, enough of just giving creators special thanks at the end of a movie. Actually, say thanks, like, with the payout.
Right.
Just give them something. The merchandising from Spider-Man alone means you're never going to have to worry about paying every single creator. And let's be honest, there's not exactly a ton of creators in Marvel like that actually made these characters. Like, what, 8,000 were made by like 6 people or something shit like that. Like, you haven't got to worry about paying 1 million people.
Yeah,
it's
Yeah, especially with a Ditko estate. And I was like, at that point, you just got to blame Steve Ditko for not refusing all of that royalty fees that were supposedly given to him when he refused. So.
Exactly. And let's be honest, is he only ever going to come down to if a movie's made of it, which is you pay it. I suppose if you do it, what I'm saying is Disney's going to be like, if we do this character, we got to pay out money. And it's just like, and that's when you're going to, you get the crap ball rolling along. But, hey,
and I mean,
I don't get why people are excited that this Marvel's going to lose everything when the Kirby estate literally proves they're not going to, because they failed.
Yeah, for the most part, they just want to see someone on top fail. But like, from what I've seen, most of them don't understand like the intricacies of what's actually happening.
I actually wanted to see and test this and see what people were saying, and the same people that are like, yeah, hope they lose Spider-Man, I hope they lose the Marvel rights because Disney bad. 5 years ago, they were all crying when WB almost lost Superman because of this same exact thing, except worse.
Yeah.
They were treating the people that created even worse. And they were like, well, they own Superman. They bought him fair and square, so don't say that. It's like, I like how you guys are all hypocrites, though. That's nice. Just, it's cool.
Yeah.
But keep playing that card.
It's wild. And it's one of those where it's kind of like, cool, they're getting sued for it. Well, they're counter-suing now. Great, I ain't got to worry about anything. Now, this is the company that has kept Mickey Mouse out of public domain for like 6 generations of people.
And I mean, that's the thing. And they extended the law to keep Mickey Mouse out of public domain. They fought in court.
They've kept Spider-Man out of the public domain. They're not losing anything. It's as simple as that.
I mean,
all they have to do is just pay up a little bit of money that they
they pay. I think they pay off and they get it extended by a couple of years.
And that's the thing. The next big famous character to enter public domain is Superman at the end of this decade, and people do.
But it won't happen though because of Disney.
Right.
Disney changing the law literally affects people going, oh, they just extend the copyright law. Yeah, it's keeping what you want with the people you want it with.
Because if Disney,
even outside of Disney,
exactly, because if Disney doesn't fight against it, then Superman does enter public domain, and y'all are going to be mad that Superman is getting a movie made by Disney and Marvel Studios because they will legally be able to do it. So it goes both ways. This is a legal trouble, and again, make no mistake. Many of these laws were written at a time that's so antiquated. Like, if you currently look at the internet laws, how do those still apply today? Like, it doesn't make sense. And that's what we're battling here is these old laws. And not just like these people. It's like you as a person are also affected by this and what you can create and do. It doesn't make sense.
This is all weird because when you look back at a lot of these laws are just too old for the internet age. So they're gonna have to,
We need the great reset that people keep going on about. Like we actually genuinely desperately need it.
Yeah.
But hey, it won't happen. So
Yep.
What can you do?
Exactly. What can you do? So when we know more, we'll get back to this. I'm assuming we're gonna hear, oh, they settled it, and that's gonna be that. And that's the last we're gonna hear of it.
Yeah. I say give it 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, oh yeah, the Ditko estate and Disney resettlement. So.
Here's the thing. For people want to know, it's Batman and Superman. We're going to enter in the public domain. Originally, July 9th, 2019, and that got extended to 2031. So yeah,
and it'll get extended again in 2031.
Well, there we go. So that's
there is some news that we could talk about.
I was gonna say, is it the Agatha? I was literally just gonna transition over there. We got breaking news. It's not after we're done recording.
I wasn't sure if you saw it or not, and I got the Variety article open. I'm like, please, for the love of God,
let's do it. We're on point for once, not a week late. Here we go. So it's true. We're getting Agatha Harkness on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Damn. Wow, that is.
And it's by Jack Schaefer again.
Ooh. Oh, okay. So that's why they got her. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That, again, makes sense.
I say the second they're like, oh yeah, we're working on something. It's like, yeah, it's something related to that. There's no way it wasn't going to be not WandaVision related.
Yeah, especially after the nominations and the awards season and all that. It's like, yeah,
And the response people got or had for Agatha.
Yep.
And if it shouldn't be even a surprise, because we found out literally yesterday that they were developing a T'Challa Star-Lord spin-off just because Boseman likes doing that version of the character.
Yep.
So it's like, hey, I like doing this. Cool, we'll make you do more of it then.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
Obviously,
hopefully make it a reality. So I want it.
I think they should. I think they should. It's not something I'm interested in the slightest, because I didn't find that episode that great in the overall scheme of things for What If. But
and the thing is, especially with things like this, they usually, it depends, but they usually have the original actor or voice actor for the character in pilots, and they usually, and if they can't get them again, they usually go with a different voice actor for the series.
I honestly do think it's like, if you look at how Marvel is being reactionary, they are honestly just listening to what people are wanting more of and going, let's do more of that. And I don't think anything besides like what we just talked about. It's like, oh, okay, they wanted to do the Star Wars thing because they were willing to do it because they knew people would love that version of the character, and that's voice acting. This whole Agatha thing, though, that's on the other side of it. It's like, that's going to be an interesting spin on things, right? Like,
is this Marvel's first villain project?
Well, unless you count Loki as a villain, yeah.
I mean,
I suppose, yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I suppose. But then that wasn't. They didn't use the. I suppose they did use the villain, like he didn't know, but they changed him.
Yeah, he was a villain. He was a villain in the first half, and then changed.
It's an interesting idea that they're gonna do this. Like, I want to know what direction you take this in.
I'd say, how do you take an Agatha series? I'm not sure. It's got to be a prequel, right?
That's the only one that makes sense, right?
Yeah. At the end of the day, as long as this does not take up my WandaVision season 2,
well,
I'm fine.
I mean, we know you're not getting a technical season 2. You're getting a follow-up, but
look. How many? I know it didn't win them, but how many times did it get nominated? 23. It's getting a second season. If it was popular enough and big enough to get an Agatha Harkness spin-off, of all characters, Agatha Harkness is getting a spin-off. WandaVision's getting a season 2.
Man, again, let's just take that time trip back to 10 years ago and tell someone, you know how you're getting excited for that Avengers film you just saw a teaser to? Wait till
you like Agatha Harkness.
Yeah, hope you like Agatha. Well, who? Well, hold on, let me Wikipedia that one. Oh man,
I just obviously there's a ton of stuff you can do.
There is, yeah.
Like you can do the whole Salem witch trials, which I suppose we kind of saw a little bit of, but how did she get to that point?
I really hope they explore way more of what happened with all the witches, because the whole witchcraft side of it is so underutilized in the MCU. And again, they are taking their time, but like now you can bring the Darkhold really into it.
Yeah,
and that's
have Agatha be like the origin of the Darkhold and all that. Obviously, not the character be the one who made the book, but like her series is the origin for that book.
Right.
And we see how like she knows how it gets made and all that. Maybe we finally see Cthulhu. Who knows? I'm still hoping he's in Multiverse of Madness, but
how many of those it's Mephisto theories are already out there?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You can't get away from them. It just doesn't even happen.
And I don't know why Mephisto's suddenly the thing. I'd love to go back and pinpoint exactly where Mephisto started.
Because casuals heard of him once and they're like, it's got to be him.
Yeah, but why? Why did they hear about it? Like, obviously, some sites reported it about Mephisto. Like, who started? Like, I need to know. I need to know who I got to slap for causing the entire damn thing.
Because they wanted Blackheart versus Ghost Rider.
Well, could we go less interesting than Blackheart versus Ghost Rider? I mean, I think this whole Agatha thing could open up a really interesting angle on what else they can bring us into the MCU. And you would have to assume if it's in development now, we're probably like, what, a year and a half, 2 away, and this will be announced next month during D Plus Day. So,
See, they haven't officially announced Echo yet, and we've had this
that's true.
be known for like a year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Echo gets announced this year, and this doesn't get officially announced until next year.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. That's just pure speculation. But it's described as a dark comedy.
I mean, I could see that. Like, that kind of makes sense. Oh, yeah. Like, if you look at the way that they handled the character, I mean, the opening song better just be Agatha all along. I mean, and just go from there.
I want a new one.
They should do it by
I need it,
decades and remix this so we get a dubstep version.
So you just want Agatha Vision?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going to have to explain her where she's been, you're kind of going to have to jump around because she's been around for hundreds of years. So at least that's my hope. But
it depends how they take it. A part of me kind of hopes they don't just do that. We have to do the weird kooky songs just because it's what people want. Like, don't fall into that trap.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like I kind of want a kooky weird song for an intro. I love that song. But...
Same.
See, I got no idea where they're going to take this. I assume purely it's going to be Dark Horror related.
Of course, it's got to be comedy. Marvel doesn't even know how to do serious. Should watch some Zaddy videos.
Oh.
Yeah. Safe Cracker zombie guy. He deserves a prequel.
Oh. Yeah, we're going to make a zombie movie prequel with no zombies in it. Cool.
Genius. Love it.
See, it says here, should the spin-off go forward? I suppose in development doesn't mean it's not actually working, does it? Yeah.
I think it will. I mean, it's not too often that Marvel actually sidelines a project. Like,
yeah, and it's, if the trades are hearing about it, then it's more likely going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If it was, the trades don't know everything.
Right.
That studios do.
Well, the good news is...
That's an interesting one. I'm excited for that.
The good news is, if they officially confirm it to us in like a month, we'll talk more about it. So we'll be back for that. Got an extra topic for the main podcast and the bonus one coming. We did pretty good.
See, if we stayed recording on Wednesdays, we would have missed that.
See, this is what's good now. We're up on the news and everything else, which I suppose is good now. This podcast will end up being a little longer anyway, but that's okay. People, I suppose, like that. So
I say with the members topic, it'll be an hour.
Yeah, exactly. That's why people should go become members and things and check out the content and the stuff. And audio commentaries are done for a while, but luckily we'll be doing some of the other films. Got the Suicide Squad, Shang-Chi when that drops, so you guys can go wait.
I was going to say, they're not done. We've got stuff to do.
Yeah. Well, they're done in terms of the weekly stuff.
Yes, yeah. Well, we there's got to be 6 movies that we haven't done.
Oh, there's way more than that.
Well, then you just do one of those a week until Hawkeye's out.
Because everybody wants to hear...
See, I'm trying to get members more content here.
See, everybody wants to hear our take on Elektra. What a masterpiece that was.
I thought you guys done Elektra years ago.
No, everybody... Every time we would try to do it, the audio would somehow not work or something would break. It was literally God telling us, don't do it.
So that old excuse, yeah.
Yeah. The excuse. Well, I mean, people did want to know if we're going to cover any more of the Star Wars. We always do the first episode, typically, of whatever the new season or series is.
Yeah, we never finished Mando.
So we might actually get back to a couple more Mandos because we got some sporadic episodes over there. So maybe we'll toss a random one out you can look forward to. So
I forgot we never finished that up properly. Whoops.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Well, I suppose we'll see. Hopefully you guys enjoy this podcast. As always, if you're members, make sure you guys go check it out after this is dropped on YouTube for everybody, because the new the extra discussion is out now, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be an interesting one. Oh boy, is it going to be an interesting one.
Mm,
Mhm.
mm.
Yep. Yep.